When it comes to defining a good Terraria weapon, a number of factors need to be looked at in order to come to this conclusion, such as the raw DPS, overall functionality, obtainability, and sometimes even a sustainability. Today, we're going to be looking at a weapon which ticks a majority of these boxes, but has always put people off due to requiring rather elusive ammunition. Of course, I'm talking about the Superstar Shooter. The question is, now after receiving a handful of buffs in the 1.4.4 update, does this weapon deliver enough punch to be worth the upkeep? Before we jump into it, however, there's something we've got to fix. Somehow, nearly 90% of you beautiful people aren't subscribed, so if you enjoy binging my content, why not let YouTube know, as it'll help the channel out big time. Okay, so let's see how you can get your hands on this weapon. The obtainability of the Superstar Shooter has actually seen drastic changes in its lifetime, originally being rarely sold by a travelling merchant. This was changed in Terraria 1.4.1 to become a direct upgrade to its pre-hard mode predecessor, the Star Cannon. The Star Cannon is pretty simple to craft, requiring 5 fallen stars, a mini shark from the arms dealer, and 20 meteorite bars. To craft its upgrade, you simply need to combine it with 12 hallowed bars at an anvil. Oh, and for reasons I'll get into later, I'd recommend not making the Destroyer your first mech boss. Okay, so with your hands on it, let's take a look at its performance. The Superstar Shooter fires stars in a straight line similar to the Star Cannon, but this time summons an additional projectile upon contact with an enemy. This used to be pretty good, but nothing groundbreaking. Luckily, in the 1.4.4 update, the weapon received a massive buff in terms of the way it reacts with an enemy, now using static immunity frames, increasing the frequency of damage that can be dealt. Plus, the Star Slash now inflicts 75% of base damage instead of 50. As you can see, it can rack up some pretty insane DPS. Against lines of enemies, it's no different, and can effortlessly deal a ton of damage to a near endless amount of enemies in a line thanks to its infinite piercing. This can also make it extremely effective at taking out multiple high HP targets, as the damage is easily spread and doesn't fall off like other piercing weapons do. Now, being obtainable when it is, I know what you're all thinking, it must absolutely annihilate the Destroyer, right? Just like every other infinitely piercing weapon. And well, yeah. Once again, another weapon that makes the Destroyer obsolete, even after its health buff. So, this is all looking fantastic so far, but I believe it's time we address the massive elephant in the room, which is the fact it uses fallen stars as ammunition. This is definitely the catch when it comes to this near perfect range weapon, and it's a big one, as at least in the newest version of the game, there is still no real legit easy way to gather thousands of fallen stars. Your best bet is honestly just purchasing some conveyor belts from your steampunker and building a sky bridge that spans the entire width of your world. This can yield you about 60-ish fallen stars per night. And I suppose if you use ammo reservation buffs like potions in the ammo box, you'll be able to burn through them slower. But the reality is, you're still gonna have to spend a lot of time farming fallen stars just to fire this thing for a few minutes. Of course, if you're a journey mode character, go nuts, but at that point you might as well just use platinum coins with the coin gun. Anyway, assuming you've gone out your way to collect enough stars to fire this thing, it can very easily carry you past Plantera, making the fight pretty chill and fast. It's easy to aim, deals good damage, and can pass Plantera's tentacles. But past this point, apart from Golem, which any weapon can destroy, I'd say it's spent, as there are so many other fantastic range weapons available for the player past this point. You could argue that it's still the perfect range weapon for events and invasions, but you have to ask yourself, is the piercing worth the time required to farm for the ammo? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this weapon down below. Is it worth it? And how impressive do you think it is after the buff? Thanks for watching. For more Terraria content like this, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.